Media Specialist in Brewster High School in Brewster, New York. I'm also a Google certified teacher, and I'm looking to get my certification as a Google trainer. And I'm going to go over my case study with you right now. And desktops. Okay, so everything clear here? Can you see my desktop okay?
Yes.
All right. Oops, I'm on the wrong, okay, here we go, case study. All right. So, basically, my school, everything was a network school, and we really, myself and a number of teachers advocated to get Google Apps in the building. The biggest obstacle that we had and continue to have is just dealing with the IT department, who basically limited a lot of Google Apps and other web tools. So my school, in order to advance, we really had to, it had to come from the classroom, it had to come from teachers. And so what we did was we reached out to other school districts that were using Google Apps for education, and we had call conferences with them, we visited them. I did a lot of research myself to give information about what Google Apps for Education is, and through that we got a pilot program that was very successful. The students loved it, and the teachers began to be curious about it, and we really launched this program with very limited professional development in the beginning. The demand for the professional development began to rise when we implemented the Chromebooks, because teachers saw how quickly and fast they work in the classroom and how the students are using them, and they themselves wanted to use it. So I began creating sort of professional development sessions for my district, for my school, and it's basically I began in the high school, and it's going beyond into the district offices. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the training program. So what I've done was I've developed real formal professional development training, and then I've used sort of individualized training as well. In this training program that we worked on, I took a department that normally doesn't have the reputation for implementing computers and tech into their classrooms, and I explained to them how Google Apps can help them, and they were very interested in a training session. So I actually developed a training session for a foreign language department in my building. And the first thing I needed to do was I wanted to gauge how the teachers, how much they learned. So what I did was I pulled the teachers, and I sent out links to them, which you can see here. And I just wanted to know what they knew, so I can help better, put my survey in put my training in better use. So I got my results, and a lot of them mentioned that they were sort of middle of the road, but most of them said that they did not use Google Apps at all. And their fear was the reliability of tech in the classroom. So I put together a lesson. Here's a link to my lesson that I was going to use for my training session that day, using Google Apps, where I had an exit rubric, an exit assessment that I used for the class. What wound up happening was I went online because I really wanted to make it engaging and fun, and there was a lot of Google certified trainers and teachers have a lot of information online. So I found something called Google Ninja, which I thought was funny, and I made my presentation with one of the animations from that, and geared the training then towards my for this department. So again, it's Google's becoming a Google certified Google Apps for Education Ninja, and we basically we polled them. We want to kind of see what they knew. I explained basically what Google Apps for Education was, how it came about, so that they understand the idea of what cloud computing is, and from there we went on to activities. And what the activity was, and again, through this presentation we showed videos like Google in Plain English, just to understand what the package was for Google Apps for Education. And what I did was I shared a Google Doc with them, and what I had had them do is I shared it with them, and they had to fill it in. So the idea of having them do it from a client was really important to me, and they were laughing and they had a really good time. I asked them if you could have 3 people, living or dead, for dinner, who would it be? And they were all laughing, having a good time. And then I told them, not to talk, but to use the chat box. So they were able to use that. And then I had them comment on the people who they chose, like what do they think of their choices in the comment side. So they were basically using what I thought was important for them to use in the classroom with this activity. So they were able to, by the end of this, they were pretty comfortable, collaborating. They were comfortable commenting. And they understood what Google Apps could do in the classroom. And then I had them use this to translate text, and some of the text, was off because I want them to show that the translating tool doesn't always make it perfect. And then we went on to a final activity where they had to team up and create a document and share with members of their department. And then I had them create a Google form where they had to create basically a quiz, which is for their class, for when they finish a lesson, they can do a really quick assessment as to how much the students understood the activity. The end result of it, though, I also went through the rest of, like I said before, all the packages, Google Sites. I showed them, gave them demonstrations of that. The contacts, I showed them how to create their class groups so that they can share documents more easily. And I put together, I'm going to click on here, Google Site, an example of a website that I created, but that they can use then for that I created for a class, a previous class. Okay, logging into their Brewster domain and everything like that. So they were really excited about having this I took a survey of them as well using Google Forms, and the results were, that they were, if you see here, that they were a lot more comfortable with Google than they were in the beginning, and that they were, interested in using, getting more training in Google Apps, and that they felt that the training was beneficial to them. Moving on to my web portfolio. I just want to show you this real quickly. So this is my web portfolio, which gives a little bit of about me. It also links to my Google Plus site, my Twitter account, and my YouTube account. Attached is tabbed over is my resume, which has all my certifications. I'm currently pending a educational technology specialist certification from the state, but I have an IC3 certification, Google Certified Teacher, and all this library media specialist in elementary school, all my education and my work experience, and attached is a digital PDF, so links right to it. I attached my case study here on my portfolio here, where it gives an overview of just what I explained before. These are all the trainings that I've done in Brewster, with links to the presentations that I have, from everything from Google to web tools to research, everything that I've done with educational technology. Where I presented, I presented at BOCES, Going Google, which was a really big presentation with a panel of Google specialists. How do you implement Google in your library and in your school? It's a link to that. And this is my on-air hangout that I have with a teacher in my district, where I went over all the add-ons and how to identify plagiarism in Google Docs to help them, just bring more accountability with student work. Looking at, the past history, of the documents, show revision history, and if you highlight, if you change the background of it, for example, of a document, as you can see in the image here, what's copied and pasted will be in a different color in many cases. So these are just little tips to help the teachers out. These are projects that I put together using Google. Curriculum projects, creating digital narratives, all the rubrics and the lesson plans that go along with that, along with a presentation that I did on creating a website using Google for a book review, where we had students pretend they were, PR agents and had to create a whole website with videos and everything like that. Last piece here is my just a research project, Stony Brook. Enhanced learning in a paperless classroom, and my presentation, the paper, and then I have like dark side of social media, which I think is very important, independent learning and flipped classrooms, cyber safety, and the web alternative. Lastly, I have my references here. Mr. Joseph Minozzi is the director of Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES for Putnam County. He was the person who asked me to present at the annual conference for library, and I've attached a copy, a PDF of the letter that he sent me, thanking me for doing this. The feedback from the librarians that affected Northern Westchester, Putnam County, Southern Westchester, and Rockland County, the feedback was extremely positive, and we're looking to do something more in the future with Google Apps and in library media. Leslie Fine is a teacher in Brewster High School. Mary DeBellis is the library media specialist in the middle school. Emery McLeod is a teacher in the high school. And Dr. Valerie Henning is the assistant superintendent of the Brewster Central School District. And that is my presentation.